Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am so thrilled to be here. So, tonight our topic is why am I not getting my period? So, let's dive in and talk about that. Let's discuss the reasons why you're not getting your period and some tips to help with hormone balance and to encourage the return of your period. Wouldn't that be nice? So if you have any questions or comments as we go through this evening, please be sure to pop them in the comments box down below and I can answer them for you live. Or if you're watching this after on the replay, I can go in and answer those for you. And also please be sure to hit the like and love hearts because I really love that. It just encourages me with my content sharing, and I just love to know that you're here tonight and enjoying the information. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Michelle Cooke. I'm a hormone and fertility naturopath, and I'm the founder and director of Reproductive Wellness. So, what are some reasons why you wouldn't be getting your periods? Let's talk about that. So, just an FYI, no period, or when you don't have a period, it's called amenorrhea. That's sort of the technical medical term. And it means that you've been missing one or more of your periods. So remember, if you're not having your period, it means that you're not ovulating. However, you can still have a period and not ovulate. So you can have an anovulatory cycle where your body's just resetting and it's doing the period, but you haven't ovulated. So keep that in mind as well. So if you are not ovulating, and you're not getting your period, it's not only a concern when you're trying to conceive, but it's important for general health as well. So don't forget that. You do need it for all sorts of things in the body. So we need ovulation and easy periods in order to have healthy hormone levels, don't we? So our girly hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and don't forget testosterone as well. It's key for so many things. It's key for weight management. It's key for moods, bone health, because it's involved in bone density, muscle strength, cardiovascular health, libido, mucous membrane integrity, and moisture. So it makes sure that your vaginal mucous membranes, for instance, are nice and moist and not dry. It's important for memory and concentration. It's also important for urinary tract health as well. And also for your immune system to function healthy, your hormones need to be in a good healthy balance as well. So you can see that having a period is really so important for all aspects of general health, not just reproductive health and not just if you're trying to conceive. So it's important to realize that estrogen and progesterone are actually required to build up your endometrial lining. So remember, at your follicular phase of the cycle, which is prior to ovulation, your estrogen is helping build that endometrial lining up until ovulation, where progesterone primarily takes over and makes sure that that lining is nice and juicy and thick. And then if implantation doesn't occur, that's when that healthy thick endometrial lining will actually shed and lead to a period. Now, in the proliferative phase of your cycle, or the follicular phase, that's when your lining is starting to build. So as I said, estrogen is more dominant there. Whereas in the luteal phase or the secretory phase, that's when progesterone is more dominant there. So they both kind of have a role there in maintaining the endometrial lining. Now, if you don't have enough estrogen, that is an issue because we need to remember that you need healthy amounts of estrogen for ovulation to take place, don't we? So that's really important as well. And healthy estrogen levels are required prior to ovulation, so that's in the follicular phase in order for ovulation to happen. So these are some reasons that you might not be getting your period, and there's so many. This definitely isn't extensive by any means, but this lists quite a few different reasons why you might not have your period. So not eating enough. This is a big one that I see quite a lot. So women just simply aren't sort of eating enough food, and then your body thinks that it's going into starvation mode. And as a survival technique, it shuts down your reproductive hormones because it's not a safe time to reproduce. Another reason could be eating disorders. So anorexia is another one. So similar to the reason above, you're not really eating enough, so your body stresses out and shuts down hormone production. Weight loss is another one too. So you have to have a healthy BMI in order to have your periods and ovulate and all that kind of thing. So if you're below your sort of ideal weight range for your height and waist measurement, that's an issue. Too much intensive exercise. So if you're exercising for extended times at the gym, you're exercising really intensely every day, that is a stress for the body as well. It produces a high amount of cortisol when you're stressed, and again, it will shut down your hormone production. Hypothyroidism is another reason. So when your thyroid is under functioning, that can actually impact your hormone balance and whether or not you ovulate and whether or not you get a period. Hyperthyroidism is another reason, so that's more of an overactive thyroid, so it's functioning too quickly, and that will impact as well. Hyperprolactinemia, so this is when your prolactin levels are too high. Sometimes this can happen as a result of high stress, and this will actually shut off your hormone production, and so will, if you've got sort of a pituitary tumor, for example, that's producing high prolactin, that will mess with your hormones too. PCOS is another reason as well. That's quite a common one. Premature ovarian failure. So that can happen when you sort of going into menopause prematurely. Normally this might be happening before 40 years of age. So that's another reason. Asherman syndrome is another one. Post-pill amenorrhea. So basically you've stopped the pill and your body has to learn how to make its own hormones again, because essentially the pill is sort of dictating what your body is sort of doing, and it's actually stopping the production of your hormones there, your natural hormones. So your body needs to learn to ride a bicycle again, essentially, and so that can take sort of a few cycles to kick in for most women. So that could be another reason why your periods are missing in action. Cushing's syndrome, that's another one as well. Pregnancy, of course, so if you're pregnant, of course, you won't be getting a menstrual cycle. Breastfeeding is another one that can delay the return of your periods as well. Menopause, of course, and perimenopause. So menopause is defined as not having a period for 12 months, whereas perimenopause can be the journey towards menopause where the cycles become more erratic and you're sort of getting less periods as you move towards that menopause state. So what can you do to get your periods back? So as you can see, there's so many different reasons to why a period might be missing. So the treatment kind of depends upon what's going on for you and why it's happening, right? But here are some good tips that you can do in terms of foods that can support your hormone balance and help bring your periods back. So this is a good start anyway. As I said, it just depends why you're not getting your period, but I'll just talk about some foods that can help. And you need to remember that your body needs the right things in place in order to be able to make your hormones for hormone balance and to be able to detoxify excess estrogen from the body and eliminate it properly. Excuse me, so that it doesn't reabsorb and cause hormone imbalance. Okay, so phytoestrogenic foods. So these are really, really important. So they'll actually bind to your estrogen receptors. So if you think of a receptor as kind of a lock, the phytoestrogenic food is kind of like a key. So it's going to bind to that and it's going to stop, really intense sort of estrogens binding to that and causing estrogen dominance or too much estrogen in the body. So they play a very, very important role. So foods like flax seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, cashew nuts, all those kind of foods are phytoestrogenic. So make sure that you include those in the diet. Also things like legumes. So legumes are your beans. So things like blotti beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, all those kind of foods. Very, very important. Another thing that you can do is called seed cycling. So if you're not getting a period, this might be a little bit difficult because normally there's particular seeds that you take in the follicular phase before ovulation, and then there's particular seeds that you take in the luteal phase, which occurs after ovulation. So in this case, you'll be following the lunar cycle. What that means is you're actually following the cycles of the moon, because technically a woman's body is meant to kind of replicate that of the moon, ideally. So basically what you would do is on the first day of the new moon, which is the day when the moon is very skinny, like a little sliver of the moon, you would start with taking flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. So I'd recommend taking a tablespoon, of each in that phase. And ways that you can include it could be, you could sprinkle it onto your stir fry. You could sprinkle it over some soup after you've cooked it. You could pop it into your smoothie. You can make protein balls with it. So there's lots of different ways you can incorporate it. Even just sprinkling it over a salad as well is a great idea, or over some goat's or sheep's yogurt as well. Now, on the start of the full moon, this is when you switch the seeds. So you'll be using seeds like sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. So again, you're taking a tablespoon of each. So again, you can do similar things to what I mentioned before to incorporate them into the diet. And basically, so those first seeds, so the flax seeds and the pumpkin seeds, generally taken in the follicular phase. So it's kind of replicating that. And the other ones are taken in the luteal phase. But because you're not getting a period, just follow kind of the moon cycles, and that will be split down into sort of 14 days. So you got your 14 days from new moon to the full moon, and then 14 from the full to the new. So hopefully that makes sense. Healthy fats, extremely important. A lot of people are scared away by fats, but we do need them. Our body needs cholesterol to actually make hormones. So if you're not making hormones in the body, you're not going to be getting a period. So very, very important to be including things like avocado, organic butter, organic coconut oil to cook with as well. Other things are chia seeds, fish as well, so things like mackerel, sardines, herring, salmon, anchovies, because as I said before, we actually need this to make our hormones. Really, really important. B vitamin foods, these are extremely important too, not only to help to produce our hormones and for hormone balance, but also to help us adapt to stress. So remember I said that stress will kind of shut off production of your hormones. So we need to make sure that your adrenal glands have an abundance of vitamin B to function normally so that they're not feeling stressed. So foods like this will help. So dark leafy greens, so things like spinach, kale, baby spinach, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, beans, eggs, broccoli, seafood, chicken and turkey, all of those contain B vitamins, so they will help you with your hormone balance. Other foods to include would be vitamin C foods. So your ovaries need an abundance of vitamin C to actually operate properly. Also, vitamin C is amazing at helping you adapt to stress. So see how it all sort of ties in. So including foods like oranges, grapefruits, all the red and kind of orange vegetables and fruits. So things like red capsicum, for instance, berries, broccoli, tomatoes, all of those contain vitamin C that will help you. Another important one is to de-stress. So what does that mean for you? You need to sort of find something that's going to make you feel relaxed, remembering that if you're stressed, your body goes into that fight or flight mode. It thinks that it's in danger and it's going to shut off your reproductive hormones because it's not a safe time to reproduce. It's time to actually survive whatever that danger is, even though you might not be in a critical sort of dangerous situation. Your body can't tell the difference between a small stress and a huge sort of dangerous stress. So some ideas might be yoga, meditation, having a bath with essential oils and Epsom salts, going for a quiet stroll in nature. Whatever that means for you in terms of relaxing and de-stressing, it's a lot of sort of self-care, isn't it? Focusing on that will also help your body feel safe. If your body feels safe and secure, then your hormone balance will come back, your hormones will start producing, you'll get your periods back and ovulation back as well. So just before we finish up today, I have to mention that I've got a webinar coming up. So if you've noticed that your periods have not been the same after COVID, so a lot of women have been experiencing things like heavy periods, lighter periods, irregular periods, periods that are more frequent, all those kind of things. So if that's been happening to you, you should pop along to my webinar. It's on Wednesday, the 3rd of August. It will go for 60 minutes and you'll get the opportunity to ask questions at the end. There's a live recording available as well if you can't attend live. Also, I'll be including a free guide. So that's periods not the same after COVID. So that will go through all the tips in there that you can implement to support your periods, your hormones and your menstrual cycles. And in the webinar, we'll be discussing, what sort of things are happening to women, what's been noticed in the research, so what kind of things are impacting the periods and menstrual cycles. We'll also be talking about why that's actually happening, so we'll discuss that as well. And obviously we'll be discussing tips on how you can actually support your periods, hormones and menstrual cycles. So really, really important stuff. I'd absolutely love to see you there. If you are watching on Instagram, there's a link in my bio to join. If you're watching on Facebook, I'll put the link down below. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll pop the link down below to book your ticket. It's only 2 weeks away, so very exciting, and I'm so thrilled to be able to share this information for you. It's really groundbreaking, and it's just nice to also get that recognition, isn't it? A lot of women say, oh wow, it is a thing, it is happening. So it's kind of good to also know that it's a thing as well. It's definitely happening. Thank you so much for watching today and taking the time out. I really do appreciate it. As I said, if you're watching the replay, pop your comments down below or any questions and I'll answer them later after the live today. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any information. Generally, I go live every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and I'll be discussing something hormone and or fertility related. Next week, however, I'll be going live on Thursday night instead of Wednesday nights, but the same time at 7 p.m. So I can't wait to see you there, and thank you so much. Bye.